Greetings, viewers. We're back with the HP EliteBook 8460W. This is the one that I reset the BIOS password on in the last EliteBook video. So today we're going to install an operating system because I haven't actually done that yet. We're going to try something a little bit different. It is going to get Linux because the other one I have is running Windows. Oh crap. Well, this is good enough anyway. I do want to PXE boot it. Cancelled by keystroke. That's not what I want. Did it just turn itself off? Oh, I just rebooted. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and install Linux Mint Debian Edition on this machine, assuming it will actually start. And we'll try and do it over the network. I think that would be interesting. So let's see what happens. I know that LMDE is a little bit more user hostile than regular Linux Mint is, but I don't have a whole lot of machines running Linux Mint either, now that I think about it, but I certainly don't have very much running Debian Edition. I think the only one I've got is one that's sitting up there somewhere. I don't even know where it went, but it was in that pile up there somewhere for a while. The Portage M100. You know, I actually don't even see it up there. I wonder where that machine went. Huh. I know I still have it. Maybe it's in a different pile somewhere else. But I've already pretty much made up my mind on this. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to install this. I don't particularly like the Cinnamon desktop environment. I think that it's a pile of crap and that Mate is much better. But Cinnamon is what we've got. So that is what we'll use. Okay, I definitely don't have the French Canada layout. Okay, English US. That's good. So I'll go ahead and I'll fill in all these details, and then we'll let this thing do what it needs to do. Okay, I don't like that that's blank, but it is there. So there's the hard drive. I don't care what's on it. We're going to do an automated installation. Yes, delete everything. Yes, delete everything. Now, let's see what this thing does. As far as partitioning, I hit yes. That's right into the hard drive. Okay, install the grub boot menu. So we'll hit next. We'll hit install. It should be good. So we'll let it do what it needs to do, and I'll come back once it has done, or once it has failed with a rant, I guess. Well, that was quick. Yes, I would like to restart the computer. See if it'll actually restart here. Or if in typical Linux fashion, it just rammed one end of itself straight into the other. See if we can make it get the hint here. Huh. I wonder. Interesting. I did just install it. You just watched me install it, right? That must be crazy. Well, that's not what I thought was going to happen. I don't know why it's put the swap at the front of the drive. That seems kind of weird, but it's there. And then there's this LMDE5 there, as there should be. But for some reason, it's still not booting. I guess because it didn't install the bootloader for whatever reason. What I was expecting to find was a UEFI partition, because modern versions of Linux hopefully assume that you want to use UEFI even on a system where you very explicitly got legacy boot turned on. Makes a whole lot of sense, right? Okay, so here's what I've basically done. I found my partition that I've got here, made a place to mount it, mounted it, bound these things, doing a bind mount, like that, then chroot and you run grub install. Let's see if that works. There's some disk activity for some reason. I don't know what it's waiting on, but it should really be telling me what it's waiting on. I think it's a little crazy that it's not. This is a hidden message that I can't see. Okay, I'm just gonna wait for it. Alright, take two, because that didn't work. Let's try something else. The system is not connected to the internet. Well, that's patently false. So I guess you'll just live without an internet connection then. I'm fine with that. I'm not in Goose Bay. It's not even what I clicked on. That's the cancel button. I don't want that. Default English US. I'm going to manual partition on this. That new, nope. New partition table. MBR. That might have been my problem. We might have partitioned it with GPT. I don't know. That's another possibility. I'm going to create, I don't know, 8192. Or whatever it would have been less 8192. Okay, I think we got what I want. A GPT is the best option. Blah, blah, blah. Don't care. I'm not using GPT anyway. So let's keep going here. Okay. Install. Install now. It's not like it works anyway, so let's let that do its thing, and we'll see where we end up from there. Wow, look at all that blue on the camera. It's not blue, it's mostly gray. I guess the camera does not have a very good color depth to it. All done. It has been installed on your computer. Well, that's what the last one said too, so I guess we'll see what's actually going on here. Well, it's a little bit more promising. Okay. Nothing. Why not? Like, that makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. And now it's bricked this. Okay, so you know what we're gonna do? I think I've lost my temper with this machine. Oh, here it goes! Wow, holy crap! Boot the hard drive. Not found. I'll show you what I think of that. That's what I think of that. Okay. After getting thoroughly annoyed with the machine, here we are. I burned a DVD, and we're going to do it that way. I don't think this is going to work any better. But let's just do this anyway and see what happens. There's the error message I was expecting to see. Do not care. Do not care. Go. Now I'll go through the rest of this. Well, I guess that's going to be another project on the back burner for a little while. What a surprise, given how things have gone so far. But I think I could tell you why we have that problem. Ouch. It's over 6 million. I don't think I've seen one drive that bad. And yeah, somebody's probably going to point out, it's all your fault, you should have thrown the machine off the table. Maybe not, but it's not like it's worth anything. Hey, it made me feel better, so what do I care? I get accused a lot in my varying Linux misadventures, we'll put it that way, of being both of stupid and lazy. Two things that I am very not. Okay, that's not quite true. I am quite lazy, but I'm not stupid. This channel has been around on YouTube for 23 years. Hard to believe it's been that long already, but yeah, 23 years. 13 years. I was going to say, 23 years is quite a while. But I've been working on computers for probably about 23 years. Working with computers for about 23 years, certainly. And I've been down this road enough. I mean, you've seen some of my various Linux misadventure videos. I've been down this road enough times to know when it is time to stop. And so it is that I took a break from this, but now we're back with the machine. This was supposed to be a simple operating system install. The video itself should have taken maybe about 5 minutes of your time. I think I've burned almost 20 minutes of recording time on this camera already, and we haven't even basically gotten started with this. And I'm sorry to say, this kind of thing happens in Linux all the time. And it really has no excuse to happen all the time. Yes, I understand that there's a wide variety of different hardware platforms out there, all of which have their own quirks. I get it. Developers don't have an example of every computer ever made, every hardware combination ever made. It doesn't matter. This stuff should be standardized enough to the point where it should work with a minimum of fuss. I mean, look at all the computers that I've got sitting around that have, in fact, got Linux on them running satisfactorily. There's plenty of them up there on that shelf. What's so different about those as compared to this, other than the fact that this one is newer than a lot of the machines I put Linux on, which is kind of ironic when you think about it. That over there is an identical machine to this one. It's running Windows 7. That took me all of about maybe 2 hours to completely set up, start to finish. This, not so much. And obviously I've gotten a little upset with the machine, which led to the demise of the hard drive. I am well aware of the fact that that's my fault. You know, don't slap the machine around like that, especially if it doesn't have an SSD in it. But it's not the point. The point is I shouldn't even be in that position. And there's no guarantee that drive wasn't bad to start with, because it could have been. I don't know. I never actually checked the health on it. So I guess we better start with that. That's going to have to be replaced right off the bat. Fortunately, HP makes that easy. The optimist in me believes that they made that easy because they wanted, you know, a nice experience for their user, but the realist in me believes that they designed this to be easily removed because they knew you'd be removing it and servicing the system often. It is an HP after all. So, I gotta undo all these screws. I gotta get this hard drive out of here because it's junk. And I'm gonna put the new one in. Now the new one, which I have already managed to misplace. Here we go. is not a Western Digital Blue SA510. It is actually a factory reconditioned WD Scorpio Black 750 gigabyte drive. Which, because I can't set myself up for too much success, also has bad sectors on it, but it doesn't have nearly as many as this drive has, and it should work. And even if it doesn't, well, I've got other drives sitting around. I mean, after all, I've got this right here, 320 gigabytes. Should be more than good enough. I want to put the 750 in there because that 750 isn't otherwise going to do anything, because it has bad sectors. Things are never easy around here. 3 screws came out just fine. This one is stripped out. And, I don't know, I thought that this was a factory hard drive, but that's evidence that it might not be. And I don't know how the hell I'm going to get that out of there. So that's going to be fun. Okay, got it out. Wasn't too bad, I guess. You can see just how messed up that screw is. I'm not putting it back in there when I go to put the new drive in. In fact, that is just going to go straight into the trash can. There it is, 750 gigabytes. Let's see if we can put this in place. Should be relatively easy to do. Lucky I can even do it on camera. And these screws just go into place. I'm getting really tired of having to do this. Good thing HP made this easy to service, because otherwise I think I would have thrown the computer out the window by now. So, easy peasy. Flip it around. I'm not even going to stop the video while I'm doing this. We'll go ahead and we'll open it. Power it on. And now's the point where I find that the BIOS has failed or something equally as stupid. Okay, well, I don't know how I feel about that. F9, boot device options. Notebook upgrade bay. I guess is the option that I want. Okay, start Linux Mint. Now I'll run through the boot up process again, or I'm going to do that off camera, and then I'm going to run through the setup process of the drive again. I will do that on camera because there are some things I want to talk about, and then we'll run through the setup process again, and hopefully it will actually work this time. Okay, we're booted up. Now, let's see here, one bad sector on that drive, nothing to really cry wolf about. That number might grow as I install on this, but that's okay. I want to format this disk, and the reason why I'm doing it here and not in the setup is because these modern Linux distributions, some bright spark decided that even though I have booted this system with a DVD with MBR formatting, because this system does have a UEFI stack, the Linux Mint, and actually it's the Ubuntu installer the Linux Mint installer is based on, that installer assumes because it's got a UEFI stack, I'm going to format it with GPT, I'm going to add an EFI service partition, and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, that doesn't really work if you're trying to boot a system like this in legacy BIOS mode, because the legacy BIOS does not support the GPT partition table. So, we're going to format this disk, if it'll let me. I don't need to overwrite the existing thing. And you can see here, it's even done this by default here as well. Compatible with modern systems, GPT, no thank you. Compatible with all systems. Format. Don't really care, there's nothing on the machine anyway. And now I'm going to partition this. I'm going to just manually partition it. How about that? That's what we're going to do. Free space following, 8 gigabytes. Let's see if it'll automatically adjust that. It should. I don't need to give it a volume name. Ext4, sure. It's going to be formatted as part of setup anyway. And then in this little bit of free space here, this is going to be, call it next, sure, swap partition. We'll do that. That's what we'll do. Alright, so I've got this good. Now I can close this, I can open my installer now, and with any luck, this will actually work. So I'll let that open, I'll run through the first bits of setup here. When we get to the disk part, that's when I'll come back. Okay, here we go. Now the default option is to hit this erase disk. Don't. We're going to select something else. This is going to go into the manual partitioner. This thing, I'm going to change. We want to use this as X4 journaling. I'm going to format it, even though I probably don't need to. That is our root. This swap area, okay. Bootloader is installed to the root of this drive. Hit install now. No EFI partition is found. It complains. Who cares? Continue. Continue. And now we should be going through the rest of setup. Okay, the installation has finished message. I'll restart now. This is installed from DVD. Like I said, I didn't bother with the PXE on this one. Because I don't really need it, so we'll see how this goes. Should eject the optical here in a second. Please remove the installation medium and press enter. That actually made me jump. I wasn't expecting it. Okay, we'll pull that out. And we'll hit the enter key. Tells me it's unable to read all this crap. Well, duh, because I just pulled the disk out. That's amazing. I don't know why it did that. Great. That's wonderful. Hey, that's promising. Would you look at that? Finally, holy crap. That should not have taken even a tenth of the time that it did. That's crazy. So, we'll let it boot, excuse me, and then we will finish up with this. Okay, done some configuration, run the first set of updates. I don't really need that. I don't think I need any additional drivers. I don't know what this is complaining about. Probably time shift, not that I care. Oh, a new version of Linux Mint is available. I didn't realize that that was as old as it was, so I'll have to upgrade that. But I'll probably do that later. Come in here, see if I can find it. System monitor. You can see roughly what it's running. AMD video. I thought it was ATI, or it's old enough to be ATI, but I guess it's not. It's running along nicely. Working just fine, so after all that, we're finally done with this stupid computer. So, like I said, I'll probably address the OS later. Right now, I don't care enough, so I'm closing the video with that. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them below. As long as it's constructive and is not just telling me that I'm stupid and lazy for not knowing how Linux works. Because it's patently false.